text goes on as we read it here in Exodus chapter 1. But the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied. And the longer this week has gone and the more I've worked through this passage and meditated on it, the more important this particular thought has become to me. Think about it like this, friends. Even without any kind of blessing from the state, without any kind of connection to the power of the state, the people of God flourish. They're slaves, but God continues to fulfill the promise to Abraham, and the nation grows and grows and grows. One of the questions that's guiding my thoughts through these first several chapters of the book of Exodus is this. We mentioned this last time. What do we do when the people of God are no longer a favored nation? What do we do when that happens? When culture has changed around us enough that what we believe has become what enemies believe. What do we do with that? Here's one of the first answers to this question, I think. And it comes out of this phrase for me. Friends, God is our source of life and blessing, not the state. Now understand how I say this. I'm wired as a very political person. I probably pay too much attention to politics. Makes me a little grumpy sometimes, because that's what politics does to you. But I firmly believe that a nation and a culture flourishes the most when that nation and that culture is structured around the word and the will of God. And the more that breaks down on a large cultural and national scale, the worse off people are. I firmly believe that. And I believe that Christians should pray and work toward that end. But we cannot mistake that work for where our blessing comes from. It comes from God and from God alone, not the state. God is where we seek life and blessing. He is our source of strength. And eventually, part of what will happen, what God will reveal to his people through this process, is that they are to be the revelation of his will to the rest of everybody else. We are intended to live out and speak the will of God to the rest of the world. In the language of Exodus, we're a nation of priests. In the language of the New Testament, we are ambassadors for Christ. Matthew chapter 6, verse 33 was going through my head as I was thinking about this. Jesus tells us, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And all these things, the things of God, will be added to you. The first thing we seek is the kingdom of God and rightness before the eyes of God. It's the first thing that we seek. So we make sure our foundations are set in God alone. And we become God's ambassadors to this world, not the other way around.